This video introduces DocProtect 8 for Mac and Windows. The new redesign was inspired by DocProtect for Linux. It allows various types of documents to be wrapped into a protected licensed application that can be distributed to users in a controlled manner. The original document could be a collection of HTML files, video, audio files, or a PDF. You can also produce an application from a series of images and turn it into a slideshow. There's also the means to create Android applications from a collection of HTML files. The document itself can be embedded within the application, or it can be derived from files that are stored at a server but only available to the intended user. To better understand DocProtect, let's actually build an HTML project into an application. So let's take a look at the original folder of files used to construct our project. We have DocProtect here. We have the source folder, which contains files for different types of projects. For example, in this folder, we have a collection of HTML files. We have the main HTML file itself, a JavaScript, and a style sheet. And we're going to build this now into an actual application. We also have some other examples here for other types of projects, PDFs, videos, audios, and some images for a slideshow. When we build our application, we're going to store it in an output folder. Here you can see we have various types of applications we've already built, and we're just focused on this HTML-based application now, so we've applied a custom icon to that finished application. We also have a support folder where we have a collection of icons and some splash screens we can use for these various projects. So if we go back to our main window within DocProtect, the most important thing you're going to select is the type of project that you're going to build. And in this case, we're building an HTML offline project, meaning all the HTML files are going to be embedded within the finished application. When you make that main selection, some of the other options and selectors within DocProtect will change based on the main type of project you select here. So we're going to pick a source folder where our source files are all located, and we'll just click the select button, and we've selected this folder here. We'll also select and pick the main HTML file. We'll pick an icon that we want to apply to our generated application, then finally the output folder where the generate application will be placed. So to generate the application, we simply click the build button, and that will build the application, and then we can click the arrow to the right here, and that opens us into the output folder where the application is ready to run. If we just double click that generated application, we see the HTML content is presented in a window, and it's kind of an interactive type of application created with HTML where it asks us questions. We can pick answers, and that's how the application works. Let's take a look at some of the general features that can be used on all types of DocProtect projects. We have a record selector in the top left where you can pick any one of up to 200 records, and you can name the record and provide links to the various components of the files that get built together when generating that application. So we've set up a record for this HTML-based project. We have another record here for a PDF type project, for a video type project, an audio type project, and so on. You can use the up and down arrows to reorganize this list of records, or the clone button if you want to clone one set of data to a new record name. You can also click on the batch build command, and you can select multiple records at once and click Build All to build all those applications in one go. Another general feature of pretty much all types of projects can be found on the Options panel. We can pick the type of HTML engine that we want to use to build our application. Now, this aspect of the tool is more important on the Windows edition of DocProtect. You can also pick what the user requirements are on the target computer where the application is running. For example, when we build the application on a Mac, we can decide whether we want to build a 64-bit Intel binary, an ARM 64-bit binary, or a universal binary that runs native on both Intel and ARM-based Mac computers. We can also pick the minimum OS and RAM requirements if we like on the target computer. We can also set some viewer constraints of the initial size of the window where the content is being presented, and whether to go ahead and maximize it or make it resizable, center it in the middle of the screen, and some other options as well. Finally, once our project is being built, it can be immediately code signed as well if we'd like, and we can do that by just choosing a certificate either on our Mac or Windows computer, and then during the build process it will go ahead and code sign the finished application as well. In addition to producing an application that can be freely distributed and used on any computer, you can also apply various types of licensing with DocProtect. For example, if we want to provide a simple perpetual product type license, we can do that with features that come directly in DocProtect. We just select the simple license type, and then we can either apply an offline license where on first launch the user is presented with a dialog and it shows a unique password number. The user gives that number to you, the developer. You put it into DocProtect, click a button, and give back the unique password required to activate that application on a specific user's computer. If you want to automate that process with online serial number activation, you can link your DocProtect application up to an account on the safe activation server, and then on first launch on the customer's computer, they're presented with an activation screen where they can enter a serial number they received during the purchase process. You can also use DocProtect in conjunction with the Quick License application, and in this case you can apply a single license, a try-buy license, or a try-buy subscription type license to your application. Now, Quick License provides a wide variety of license types. For example, you can define a time-limited trial license or a perpetual license that once activated runs forever on the machine but allows the user to securely move between computers. You can also have a try-buy license or a subscription license where the user pays you a monthly or annual fee. So to do that, you would define the license with Quick License and generate a little binary file called a ticket file. And then on the tickets panel within DocProtect, you can reference the ticket file for the product license and another one for the trial license if you want the try-buy type license presented to a user. You also can have a link within your try-buy dialog where the user is able to click a button. It'll navigate the user to your website where they can buy a serial number and permanently activate the license. Or you can customize all the runtime dialogues for different human languages with a custom text file created within Quick License as well. Some developers like to brand their application with a splash screen, and DocProtect makes that very easy to do. You're just going to pick an image, and if we navigate over to our splash screen folder, we have a bunch of predefined images here. So we'll just pick an image that we want to use, and then we can pick some of the characteristics of our splash screen, whether it's centered on the window, expanded full screen on the user screen, how many seconds the splash screen is presented before it disappears and goes into your application, or whether the user has to click a continue button. You can also have text at the top or bottom of the splash screen, multiple lines of text in the middle if you'd like, or a URL that could actually take the user to a page of your website. Another general feature that can be used on various types of applications is a contents panel. So the idea of a contents panel is you can have multiple documents all embedded within the same application. So let's say you had an HTML-based application with multiple entry points. You can define each main HTML file and give it a title, and that will present a table of contents that gets presented each time the user launches the application, and they can select and go into a certain sub-application within that application. And then if they cancel out of that window, they're presented again with the contents view to navigate to a different aspect of your application. The same thing can be done with a collection of PDF files, for example. So far, we've discussed how you can use DocProtect running on a Mac computer to define an application that runs on any modern Mac computer. You can do the same thing with DocProtect running on a Windows computer, and then it will run on Windows 7, 8, 10, or 11 as well. You can also define Android applications using DocProtect running on either Mac or Windows. So in this case, in our main screen, we've selected an Android application, and we've selected the folder of HTML files and the main HTML file within that folder from which our Android application will be generated, and finally the output folder where the finished APK file will be placed. If we go to the Android panel within the application here, there's a few additional bits of information you have to provide. You have to give it an icon file for your Android application and kind of the main image file. Now your Android application can be built and unprotected and free to distribute from your website or any Android app store, or you might choose to apply some type of licensing. Using Cloud License, which is an internet-based licensing system, you get Cloud License either by having a Safe Activation Service 3 account or have Cloud License server installed on your own Linux or Windows-based web server. And you'll have to configure a little information on the server and a little information in this section of this dialog to set up various types of licenses. You can have time-limited trial licenses, perpetual product licenses, try-buy licenses, or a subscription license. And finally, when you click the Build button, it will produce a folder of source files, and then you'll need to open up Android Studio and click Build within Android Studio to compile that source folder of files into a finished APK file. To summarize, DocProtect 8 was a major redesign of DocProtect for Mac and Windows computers. It has many of the same features and capabilities as DocProtect for Linux, and you can see you can also produce Android applications that run on Android devices. To get you started, we've created a DocProtect examples install that you can do for either Mac or Windows, and it'll give you these different source projects that you can use to experiment with on your own computer, or you can just run the finished applications that were built here and try them out on Mac or Windows.